I never thought I'd be the one telling a story like this, but here I am, a mess, sitting on my bed, looking at the ceiling, questioning how it all went so wrong. My name's Leia, and I'm 28. I had the life everyone envied. A stable relationship, a good job, friends who loved me. But in one weekend I managed to throw it all away. Started off so innocent. Or at least I told myself it was. My best friend, Emily, called me up out of the blue and suggested we go to Vegas. She said it was the last chance for a wild trip before I got too tied down. I laughed it off, saying I wasn't that kind of girl anymore. But deep down I wondered if maybe I was missing out on something. Was I too predictable, too comfortable in my relationship with Tom? The thought lingered. So when Emily called again and pushed me harder, I agreed. I told Tom, my boyfriend of 3 years, that I was going to Vegas with Emily for a girls' trip. He didn't like the idea but said he trusted me. It felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders when he said that. It was a small nod of reassurance that everything was fine, that he believed in me. I was engaged, committed, so what could possibly go wrong? The flight was filled with excitement, the anticipation of something new, something different. Emily was on a mission to remind me how fun I used to be. The reckless side of me I'd buried after getting into a serious relationship. She dragged me to every bar, every party, and I followed, thinking maybe I needed this one last hurrah before the wedding. I kept telling myself I wasn't doing anything wrong. But deep down I knew I wasn't in control anymore. And then it happened. I met them. 2 guys at a bar. Their names I don't even remember. But in that moment I didn't care. They were charming, smooth, the kind of guys who knew exactly how to make a woman feel like she mattered. They weren't pushy, but they were persistent. And somewhere along the way, I forgot the lines that I'd always promised not to cross. Emily, the wild one, encouraged me. She pushed me to keep going, to not think about the consequences. They bought us drinks, talked to us like we were special. And in that moment, with the music blaring and the drinks flowing, I wanted to believe that maybe I was something more than just Tom's girlfriend. Maybe I was still someone people desired, still someone who had the power to choose. I didn't go back to the hotel with them right away, but the temptation gnawed at me. I knew it was wrong. I knew I had everything to lose. But one part of me, the part one hadn't heard in years, told me to do it. This was my chance. I could feel that familiar thrill of rebellion, the kind I'd once known. So I went. I let myself walk down that path, convincing myself that it wouldn't mean anything. I woke up the next morning in a bed I didn't recognize, a room I didn't remember entering. My head was pounding. The details were blurry, but the shame was clear. I looked over and saw him, one of the guys from the night before. We weren't alone, though. There was another one passed out in the corner. It was like the reality of what I had done hit me all at once. A slap to the face. I had ruined everything. I tried to get dressed quietly, my mind racing. What had I done? I wasn't even sure if it was real or if I had somehow dreamed it. But when I looked in the mirror, I knew it was real. I'd crossed a line I could never uncross. The guilt gnawed at me, but I kept it together long enough to pretend everything was okay. I told myself that no one needed to know. No one had to understand. I would go back to Tom, pretend like nothing happened, and move on. But the moment I walked into our apartment, I could see it in Tom's eyes. He didn't even need to say anything. I could feel the shift in the air, that cold distance between us. He told me flatly that someone had called him Emily. She had told him everything. I was numb. How could she? How could she betray me like that? Tom's face wasn't angry, though. He wasn't yelling or throwing things. He just looked devastated. He looked at me like I was a stranger, someone he didn't even recognize. His voice was calm, but his words were like daggers, each one slicing deeper. He didn't even need to ask questions. He knew. And somehow I knew the life I'd built with him was over. He asked for space. He asked for time. And I thought maybe this was a mistake I could fix. Maybe I could make him understand. But he was already gone. He'd already made his decision, and there was nothing I could say that would change it. The worst part wasn't the fights. It wasn't the yelling or the anger. It was the silence, The unbearable silence between us. Every day felt like an eternity. He stopped looking at me the same way. He stopped touching me. He stopped being the man I once knew. I thought about running away. I thought about leaving just to escape the pain, but I couldn't. He had become a ghost in my life, and all I had left were the consequences of my actions. And now, as I sit here staring at my phone, I see the messages from my friends. Emily's words were just the beginning. My entire world is crumbling. They're all turning their backs on me, judging me for something I did, for one stupid, impulsive mistake. They don't understand. And I don't know if I can fix this, but deep down I know I can't go back. I've lost my future, and I don't know how to start over.